Narcissists struggle so much with deep-rooted feelings of shame and unworthiness that they struggle to keep themselves emotionally balanced, and they never quite find that feeling of stability and of feeling well grounded. And to help mitigate that, they really need a scapegoat, someone who they can project their feelings of shame, unworthiness, and other negative feelings onto to help stabilize them. And that's what the narcissistic projection that is often talked about is really about them externalizing the feelings that they can't handle, that they can't process themselves, or that they struggle to process, and make somebody else feel those feelings. And by doing that, the narcissist gets temporary relief. It regulates their emotions. So narcissists really they look for those targets, those people who have certain vulnerabilities, who are willing to take on the narcissist's feelings of shame, unworthiness, and these other negative feelings that the narcissist is always kind of drowning in. So when you look at the types of personalities that narcissists look for, they look for people um who who can only feel good in themselves when they have someone else validate them. And obviously the narcissist plays that role well. You know, the narcissist in the early stages of a new relationship, they give strong validation to people to kind of hook them in. They all in the target, the narcissist also looks for people who are people fixers, who have this self-sacrificial nature, where they're willing to take on a lot of pain of somebody else, whether it's emotional pain and sometimes even physical pain. Um, because that target, that person might have their own unhealed trauma, whether it's from childhood, other traumatic events, where they almost feel they're deserving of that kind of pain. So narcissists really do like these types of targets that are self-sacrificial in nature, people who have unhealed trauma, where they're willing to suffer a lot at the hands of another person before they do anything about it, if they ever do anything about it. And just being that scapegoat that the narcissist so much needs, that that object of narcissistic projection, where they can just use that person to regulate themselves. Um, and of course, that's alternated. The narcissistic projection and using that person as a scapegoat for negativity generally is alternated with the narcissist being occasionally kind, breadcrumbing the person by giving them the occasional doses of affection and validation that the person needs. But whenever things aren't running right, if whenever the narcissist all of a sudden starts panicking about something, finding themselves feeling paranoid about something, or maybe something in the house isn't working properly, maybe the dishwasher broke or is malfunctioning, and they in their mind the dishes needed to be washed, so they needed to do it right away, or other technological related issues with IT issues with computers, iPhones, tablets. Whenever something isn't really working the way it should be, narcissists can sometimes very frantically, in a very paranoid way, they kind of get these their targets involved to kind of fix things, and at the same time to appease their emotional instability. And narcissists really need people around to do that. And the problem for the narcissist is if they don't have such a good scapegoat, such an individual to be their emotional regulator, then they have to take on those feelings themselves. When things aren't working out, they have to A, be okay with it, and B, find a solution. And they don't do that very well because they're very prone to paranoia. If you've lived with a narcissist, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. They're very prone to paranoia when things are not working out. When things are working out perfectly for them, they can be the best people to be around in terms of excitement and kind of the euphoric feeling that spills over to you. But when things are not working out, they can come across very negative. Some might even say very demonic. It's almost like they're possessed or something. That dark energy that kind of just spills over to those around them. And that's why, even though it's very common for people who live with narcissists for a long time to think, why do they even want me around? Because all they do is, mistreat me, They don't show any appreciation, and they're always in a bad mood. And the person who lives with them might think, oh, I feel like I'm doing something to upset them. But then if you were to leave, they start losing it. They can't really make it without you. And unless you understand the nature of the disorder, you can't really do the maths and understand how can somebody be like that? How can somebody apparently just really hate me and loathe me, but at the same time they can't live without me? Or when you're dealing with a narcissist, that's just the norm. And many people spend a lifetime before they really understand that. So yeah, even though they they'll never truly care for or truly and consistently treat their spouse or their cohabiting partner or people who live with them, maybe even children, well. Um, and even though those people might feel like the narcissist doesn't appreciate them or care for them too much, the narcissist cannot make it without a good scapegoat, a nice, nurturing, people-fixing, self-sacrificial scapegoat to help them just keep themselves emotionally stable and protect them from themselves. Because ultimately, the job of the scapegoat is to protect the narcissist from themselves, because the narcissist doesn't know how to process their own negative emotions. And the narcissist has, I guess you can say, a lot of negative emotions within themselves that are so deep rooted that it's not easily fixed and arguably will never be fixed. And so they need somebody to constantly be there to kind of massage their their unease, to massage their paranoia, to massage their emotional instability, so that they kind of feel leveled, grounded. So yeah, the scapegoat's there. Is the job of the scapegoat for the narcissist is to help keep them grounded in that sense.